Welcome to today's video. In this video, I'm going to continue looking at probability, and in today's topic, I'll look at experimental probability. And in this video, I'm going to define what experimental probability is, and later on, I'm going to show you how you can find the probability of a given scenario. Okay, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you find this video helpful, remember to like and share with your friends. With that being said, let's get into today's lesson. So let me start by defining what experimental probability is. So experimental probability are probabilities that can be determined from experiments or past experience. So experimental probability is a probability that you can determine from experiments or past experiences. That is experimental probability. In other words, this is what comes from practical activities, things that has been happening or things you are doing. Okay, that's experimental probability. It comes from experimental things or experiences. Okay, so when you are trying to find the experimental probability, we use the formula, which is probability of an event taking place is equal to a number of favorable outcomes divided by or over total number of trials. Okay, so the probability of an event is equal to number of favorable outcomes over total number of trials. Okay, that is the formula we use to find the probability of anything you want or any scenario. Okay, so let's look at this example so that you can understand more. Okay, before we look at any example, let's simplify this formula so that we don't have to write a longer formula like that one. We can write PE, that is probability of the event, is equal to number of favorable outcomes of an event over number of trials, which is denoted by S. Okay, number of trials, how many times you have tried that, how many tries. If you are tossing a coin, how many times have you tossed a coin? That is the number of trials. Okay, total number of trials. Okay, on top, N, that is favorable outcome, NE, that is the favorable outcome. Okay, so we're going to be using that formula. Okay, remember where there is E, we can replace it with the outcome you want of any scenario. Let's look at this example. A coin was tossed 50 times and the tail was obtained 30 times, while the head was obtained 20 times. Find the probability of getting A, head, B, tail. Okay, so here is a scenario. Someone was tossing a coin and he tossed it 50 times. In those 50 times, 30 times the tail was on top, and 20 times the head was on top. Now they're asking us to find the probability of getting the head on top, B, the tail on top. So let's start with A. They're asking us to find the probability of having the head on top. Okay, so we're going to write the probability of the head, which is going to be PH. Okay, PH is equal to probability, that is the number of the head divided by the total number of trials. Okay, which is equal to, okay, so probability of the head is equal to the number of the head. How many times did the head come on top when the coin was tossed 50 times? We can see that it is 30 times. So it was 20 times. The head was tossed, the head was on top for 20 times, not 30 times, but 20 times. Okay, how many times was the coin tossed? We are saying it was tossed 50 times, so we're going to say over 50 times. That is the total number of tossing of the coin was 50 times. Then once we have done this, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to find the common factor of 20 and 50. Or in other words, I'm saying, is there any number that can go into 20 and 50? There are many, including 1, 2, 5, okay, as well as 10. They can go into 20. Now, since there are many numbers that can go into 20 and 50, we're going to look at the biggest number, which is 10. So we're going to say 20 divided by 10, 50 divided by 10. So we're going to divide 20 and 50 by the same number, which is 10, the highest common factor of 20 and 10, which is going to give us, which will be equal to, okay, it's going to be equal to, then it's going to be equal to, okay, it's going to be equal to, so 20 divided by 10 will give us, 20 divided by 10 will give us 2, which will be over 50 divided by 10 will give us 5. So the probability of tossing a coin and getting a head on top is 2 over 5. 2 over 5. That's the probability. Okay, now let's find the probability of having a tail on top. So we're going to write PT is equal to, so probability of the tail is equal to, okay, the number of tail, which is 30, which is the number of tail over the total number of trials, which is there down. Then we are going to say equal to the number of tail. How many times were the tail on top? We are saying 30. The tail was on top 30 times when the coin was tossed 50 times. How many times was the coin tossed? 50 times. So we're going to say 30 over 50 times. Okay. Then we're going to find a common factor of 30 and 50, which is 10 as well. So we're going to divide both sides by 10. So 30 divided by 10 will give us, let me write equal to, 10 divided by 30 will give us, or 30 divided by 10 will give us 3. 50 divided by 10 will give us 5. So the probability of having a tail on top is 3 over 5. That's the probability of having the tail on top when you toss a coin. Okay, so this is the probability. These are the chances of having the head on top and the tail on top. For the head is 2 over 5. For the tail is 3 over 5. Those are the probabilities of the head and the tail. Okay, now let's look at this second scenario. Okay, we look at this second scenario, which is Chelsea have played Liverpool 90 times. Liverpool has won 30 times, while Chelsea has won 40 times. The rest, they have drawn. Find the probability of the A, Chelsea winning, B, Liverpool winning, C, times they drew. So, Chelsea have played Liverpool 30 times, or 90 times. Liverpool has won 30 times, while Chelsea has won 40 times. The rest, they have drawn. Find the probability of Chelsea winning. Okay, so we want to find the probability of Chelsea winning. So we're going to write probability of Chelsea winning is equal to number of Chelsea winning divided by the total number of the game played. Okay, the total number of games played. Okay, so Chelsea have won how many times? So let's write equal to, then we say Chelsea has won, how many times has Chelsea won? from that statement, we are told he has won 40 times, which will be divided by the number of times they have prayed, which is over 90 degrees, or sorry, over 90 times, which now we are going to find the common factor. There is common factor of 40 and 90, which is 10. So we are going to divide 40 by 10 will give us 4. 90 by 10 will give us 9. So it's going to be 4 over 9. So the probability of Chelsea winning the game is 4 over 9. 4 over 9 is the probability of Chelsea winning the game. Okay, now let's look at question B, which is Liverpool winning. So what is the probability of Liverpool winning? So we are saying probability of Liverpool winning is equal to number of times Liverpool has won over the total number of times they have played the games. Okay, so they have played. So Liverpool has won how many games? So we can see that in the statement we are told that Liverpool has only won 30 games. So we're going to say equal to 30 times, then divided by how many times have they prayed? They have prayed 90 degrees or 90 times. Sorry, 90 times. They have prayed 90 times. So in those 90 games, Liverpool has won 30 games. So now we're going to find the common factor of 30 and 90, the highest common factor of 30 and 90. So the number that can go into 30 and 90, the highest one is 30. So we're going to divide 30 by 30 and 90 by 30. So 30 divided by 30 will give us 1. 30 divided by 90 divided by 30 will give us 3. So it is going to be 1 over 3. Okay, so the probability of Liverpool winning the game is 1 over 3. It's 1 over 3. That's the probability of Liverpool winning the game. Okay, let's go to question C, which is we find the probability of times they have drew. Okay, so the times they have drawn is equal to how many times have they drawn first. That's the thing we need to find out. How many times have they drawn? If we are not given the number of times they have drawn, now we need to find the number of times they have drawn. Now when you look in the statement, when you look at the statement, you see that the only times they have given is when Liverpool won and Chelsea won. The times they drew is not given. So we are going to find the number of times they have drawn when they have played. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add the number of games they have won, which is the number of times Chelsea has won and the number of times Liverpool has won. We're going to add that. Then we're going to subtract it from 90. The difference will be the number of times they have drawn. Okay, so it's going to be 90 minus 30 plus 40. So 30, these are the games Liverpool has won, and 40, these are the games Chelsea has won. So when you add the number of times Liverpool has won and the number of times Chelsea has won, then we find the difference. We subtract from 90. So when you add 30 plus 40 to give us 70. Now when you subtract 70 from 90, it will give us the answer, which is 20. Okay, it will give us the difference, which is 20. So now since the difference is 20, that is the number of games they have drawn. Now we need to find the probability of drawing of the draws they have had. Okay, so we're going to say probability of draw is equal to the number of times they have drawn over the number of times they have played. Okay, which is going to be equal to how many times have they drawn? We are saying 20 times. And how many times have they prayed to have those 20 times of drawing? Is 90 times. Okay, so they have drawn 20 times from 90 games. Then we're going to say what number can we use to divide 20 and 90 without leaving a remainder? The number that can go into 20 and 90. The highest common factor of 20 and 90 is 10. So we're going to say equal to 20 divided by 10 will give us 2. 9 divided by 10 will give us 9. Okay, so the probability of Chelsea drawing is 2 over 9. So the probability of draw is 2 over 9. The probability of draw is 2 over 9. So basically, this is how you find the probability of any scenario. If you have got questions, you can ask in the comment section. Otherwise, we'll be glad to respond to your questions. Otherwise, this is what I had to share with you. If you have questions, as I said earlier on, you can ask. Otherwise, it has been easy learning Z Mathematics. The future is bright. See you in the next video, and God bless you.